Hello, friends. I hope you have been good. So, today we are starting a new topic, the play Final Solutions by Mahesh Dattani. This is one of masterpieces by Mahesh Dattani, and he's a prominent name in Indian playwriting scene. So, let's know a bit about the playwright, and then we'll go and discuss Final Solutions. We will focus on plot, characters, themes, writing style of the author, everything you need to know about this play. Okay, so Mahesh Dudani is an Indian playwright who was born on 7 August 1958. So he has seen a lot of things in Indian history and he uses those elements in his plays and he brings out the Indian culture, Indian politics, and Indian way of living through his plays. And he's a prominent Indian playwright writing in English at the moment. And his plays have been adapted in various stages and various Indian languages. And his plays have also been staged abroad. And he's known for revitalizing Indian English drama. So one of the few playwrights who actually, created this new genre of Indian writing called Indian plays. And he's the first Indian playwright to receive the Sahitya Akademi Award in 1998. So that's a big honor for any playwright or any writer for that matter. So that's a big thing. His plays explore the tangled realities of urban and contemporary India. So how rural India and urban India collide with each other and he brings out those complexities in his plays. And he's also an acclaimed actor himself, and he plays various roles in his own plays, and he's also into screenwriting and film and is a filmmaker in his own accord. And he founded his own theater group called Playpen in 1984. These are some of his famous plays, prominent plays: Dance Like a Man, Final Solutions, and Where There Is Will, all very important and prominent plays in Indian writing in English. Okay, now let's get into plot uh, and plot story. So the play opens with Daksha, who's writing in her diary about her life, her marriage, and lost dreams. And we also get to know her friend Zareen and her bond with Daksha. So these were close friends back in the day, but their friendship got impacted because of their religions and the enmity between their families. And then after the play gets introduced and we get to know Daksha and her life story, then the play, jumps 14 years forward. And we now see Daksha, who lives in Gujarat, and she has a son named Ramneek, her daughter-in-law Aruna, and her granddaughter Smita. They are all introduced and what kind of relation they share. But now Daksha, after her marriage, now has uh, a different name. We will get to know about that. And then the incident opens, now the element of history gets involved in the play. you will, if you know a little bit about Indian history, you will realize that it is basically surrounding the events of 1990 90s when there was a lot of religious there were a lot of religious tensions because of Hindu-Muslim riots and breaking of Babri Masjid. The broken idol scandal ignites communal tensions in the play, and we see that in the present now. Smita's call to friend now. Smita also, who's the grand daughter of Daksha, she's calling to her friend Tasneem, and she's asking about her health and well-being since there has been a bomb blast near her hostel. And now there is an element in his play, who's a Mob is a character in his play in this play. Mob is a background, but when there is some communal element or when there is some tension going on, then this mob in the background comes to forefront, and we see the activities of the mob. Now, Hindu mob attacks Javed and Bobby, who are two Muslim characters in the play, and they are seeking shelter because they are being chased by a Hindu mob, and they seek the shelter in Ramnik's house. Ramnik, if you don't know, is Daksha's son, and Ramnik gives shelter to Javed and Bobby. And mob now comes to Ramnik's house, and mob demands that if Ramnik wants his well-being, then he should give Javed and Bobby to them. But obviously, Ramnik refuses that, and he does not give in to the demands of the crowd or the mob. Then Smita identifies Javed and Bobby. Obviously, she knew them, yeah, because Javed is the brother of her friend Tasneem, and Bobby is obviously the fiance of Tasneem. And there is a link that is revealed between Javed, Bobby, and Smita. Then Ramnik offers protection and shelter to Javed and Bobby, and then there is a lot of heated debate between Javed and Ramnik regarding the religious tensions, and obviously they have different views, uh, different points of view. Then Bobby intervenes and separates them, and Javed and Ramnik they clash verbally. Then Bobby mediates. And then later, Ramnik offers a job to Javed and Bobby in his clothing shop. But then there is backstory regarding that shop. Uh, this shop once was owned by Daksha's friend, but now this shop is owned by Ramnik. And Smita stops Ramnik from giving them a job by telling him about Javed's past. Now, obviously, Javed has a past. He had some experiences in the childhood where he faced discrimination because of his religion, and then he's involved in some anti-Hindu activities, and Smita knows about and tells it to Ramnik, and that stops him from offering job to Javed and Bobby. But Javed feels betrayed that why did Smita tell about his past to Ramnik, that is her father, and then that brings out tensions in that group in that house where the mob is standing outside. Then Javed and Bobby decide to leave after Smita tells Ramnik about Javed's past, but then Ramnik insists they stay because if they go outside, then the mob can do anything to them. Then we also get to know about Smita's love affair with Bobby back in the day. but because of their religious beliefs, they decide it will be better if they decide to break their relationship. And but it is in hindered by the communal divide between them. She knew that her family, her mother Smita knows that her family, basically her mother and grandmother, they won't allow for their relationships to flourish. Then Daksha confronts Javed and Bobby because Daksha's father was killed by the Muslim friend's family, but she does not know the whole truth uh, that Daksha's father was involved in the burning of a shop that Daksha's friend's father had owned. Then obviously Ramneek had an idea about what his grandfather did, what his father did. Then he tells then he confronts his mother Daksha regarding that, and he tells her that she should not be the one to, confront Javed and Bobby when she does not know the whole truth. And then in the final exit, Javed and Bobby leave the house after the mob leaves their house. Then when the mob is not in the front of their house, and there is before they leave, there is one incident when Bobby speak of communal harmony, and he goes to the temple, the in-house temple of Aruna, that is Smita's mother, and Aruna objects to that. So Bobby and Smita, they are the new generation, and they hold hope that in the future there won't be any communal rights and communal tensions because the newer generation, they are open. They do not carry the past trauma like Daksha carries. And then there is Ramneek's confession of ancestral wrongdoing. So he admits that both the sides have done some things wrong, and if they keep sticking to the past, then there won't be any future. The same anger, same hatred will continue to create trouble. Uh, the same anger will not allow the communal harmony to exist. So that is the ending of the play. I hope you understood the whole plot. Now let's get to know the main characters. Obviously, I should have done that before, but I introduced you how each character is related to other characters. And Daksha, she is the main protagonist of at the start of the play, and we get to know about Daksha's story through her diary. What are her she wanted to become a singer, but her family does not allow to follow her passion. Then there is Jareen, who is the friend of Daksha, Muslim friend of Daksha, and Daksha and Jareen's Daksha and Jareen's friendship gets impacted due to their religion. And then there is Ramneek, who is Daksha's son, Aruna, wife of Ramneek. Smita is the daughter of Aruna and Ramneek, and the granddaughter of Daksha. Then there is Tasneem, who's a friend of Smita, and then Javed, who's Tasneem's brother, and Bobby, who's Smita's past lover and uh, Tasneem's fiance. Now let's have a look at the different characters in the play. Daksha, she represents memory and generational trauma. Since Daksha has a first-hand experiences of she has first-hand experience of communal tensions, and she gets to face all that because of what Jareen's family does to her family. But she does not know what her father did to Jareen's family. Daksha's father burned the shop of Jareen's family so that he could buy it for cheaper price. And in turn, Jareen's father killed Daksha's father. Once Daksha is a 15-year-old bride in 1948, now she's an elderly matriarch of the family. And her past, her father was killed during a partition by Zareen's family, and her friendship with Jareen, a Muslim, was forbidden by her in-laws. And in the present, she holds a lot of hatred and resentment against the Muslims because she believes that her father was killed by a Muslim family, but she does not know the whole truth. And she symbolizes lingering communal bitterness shaped by personal loss and personal betrayal she feels. Now, uh, Ramneek, who is the son of Daksha, so he's secular in his point of view, but yet he's conflicted because of her family's experiences of Muslims, and he tries to be secular for the most part, but obviously that family history gets in the way of it. And he welcomes Javed and Bobby in his home despite family objections, mostly by mostly by his mother Daksha and his wife Ramni, sorry, Aruna. Okay, so we were talking about how Ramnik is haunted by his family and the family history, how his family cheated on Jareen's family, who's who was a friend of Daksha, and this guilt is there in his mind, and that's why he confronts his mother towards the end of the play, that she's very biased in her outlook, and he stands for moral introspection and acknowledgement of past wrongs. So that is the way, ultimately, that is the way for both the communities to go ahead to restore communal harmony. And he is often torn between compassion and inherited prejudice. So inherited prejudice and bias and hatred is one of the major themes in the play. Okay, let's go and discuss other characters in the play. Now we have Aruna, who's the wife of Ramnik and daughter-in-law of Daksha. She's she does not have first-hand experiences of communal disharmony or past trauma, but she has a second-hand trauma inherited by her family. And she's devout and very orthodox in her outlook. She's religiously orthodox. And when Bobby enters her family temple, she tells him to get out of the temple. And she strongly opposed to Muslims entering her home and touching household objects. And she also advises Ramnik not to give shelter to Javed and Bobby. And she embodies rigid religiosity and ritual purity when it comes to other community members. That's why she's not very welcome to the idea of Javed and Bobby in her house. And her relationship with Smita is also not very good. She's a controlling mother and who imposes religious practices on her daughter. And she represents uncompromising traditionalism and prejudice. So she's not secular or modern in her outlook compared to her husband, Ramnik. Okay, now we have Smita, who's torn between parental expectations, mostly imposed by her mother, and her own outlook on life. So she's also, like her father, very to a large extent secular in her outlook and liberal minded. And she has a past bond with Bobby, which gets, which she decides to leave him because her family would not allow for the relationship to flourish. And she suffers under her mother's stifling religiosity because her mother is very orthodox, like Daksha, and she represents the younger generations struggling to reconcile their family past and their own love and identity, love, faith, and identity in life. So they have to make a decision whether to go with inherited religious bias and hatred or decide their own destiny in life. Now we have Javed, and he's a young Muslim man who's very fiery and bitter because of his personal experiences as a child. And he's a victim of prejudices in childhood, like humiliations he felt uh, at the hand of his neighbors. And once, as a child, he was told that he has impurified the wall of neighbor's house by just by touching it. And he worked as a hired criminal, mostly to, you know, distill, mostly to instill hatred in the newer generation of Muslims. And he has instigated in few riots and admits to throwing a stone at the Rath Yatra that was taken out after breaking the Babri Masjid. And he's very distrustful. And in during the play, he says, "Every time I look at you, my bile rises." That he says to Ramnik, and he symbolizes anger uh, bred from systematic exclusion and stereotyping. We know that there are a lot of stereotypes in Indian society regarding every religion, regarding every person, caste, so color. There are so many stereotypes, and obviously there is exclusion faced by people, minority people, and he's one of those. Now we have Bobby, who's a friend of Javed, and he's also the fiance of his sister, Jareen. Tasneem. And he's a Javed's friend, Tasneem's fiance, and Smita's old love interest. He's also, like Smita, secular and composed, and to a great extent tolerant. And he contrasts Javed's aggression with his calm demeanor, and he seeks reconciliation. As we know, towards the end of the play, he gives a speech for communal harmony, and he smiles at. He says one of his statements is very symbolic. He says, "See, I'm touching God." And he smiles at our trivial pride and shame. And he symbolizes hope for communal harmony and faith in shared humanity. So, like Smita, he also supports communal harmony and a shared faith in humanity rather than believing in inherited prejudice and family history. Okay, now let's look at the various themes in the play. And we discussed in the previous slides how memory plays an important role in the play. Let's have a look at it. And memory as the foundation of the play. Uh, so memory is both the source of conflict and the potential for resolution of this conflict, how distorted our traumatic memories perpetuate prejudice. So this is mostly viewed through the character of Daksha, who has experiences of conflict and biased memory, because her memory is only she only knows the half truth regarding what happened to her family, but she does not know what her family did to her friend Jareen's family. And in memory, we also have the possibility of confronting and re-evaluating past memories or narratives, and that we view through the character of Ramnik, who confronts the family past and biased memory, and when he confronts his mother about how wrong she was regarding her friend Jareen's family. And also, there is subjective nature of memory. Memory is not a passive recall, but an active, subjective construction that dictates present realities. Now we see that Daksha and Aruna, uh, their realities are very much shaped by how they remember, or how rather how they construct their memories, because memory is not a stable thing. Memories get shaped by our present beliefs and present what is happening in the present, and how the present intermingles with the past. Then we have Daksha and her traumatic memory. We already have discussed a lot about it. Like Daksha's father was killed during partition, forcing family displacement from Pakistan to current Gujarat, and the perceived humiliation by Zareen's family. And then there is husband. She Daksha faces a lot of violence at her in-laws, at the hand of her in-laws, and also through her husband. She was often beaten and locked up for eating with Muslims, like her friend Jareen, at her friend Jareen's home. And these traumatic experiences hardened Daksha into her older, embittered, and entirely intolerant self. Earlier, she was tolerant towards Muslims, but what happens to her father that shapes her memory into bitterness? Then we also have collective memory that is represented through the mob in the play, that is mostly in the background, but it takes active role and comes to forefront when there is a communal tension or communal disharmony. So it is beyond personal. The play suggests that communal prejudice is often sustained by a shared belief or flawed collective memory that is through shown through crowd and mob. Then we have Aruna's prejudice. Aruna, who's the wife of Ramni, she does not have any first-hand experiences of uh, communal hatred or communal disharmony, but she inherits from her family and also through Daksha's memory. And Aruna's conservatism and hostility towards the Muslim youths reflect an inherited societal prejudice, because she does not allow Bobby to enter the family temple. Then the Javed's anger is also, to some extent, due to the collective memory, which is flawed. His anger stems from his own past experiences of prejudice, and that also shows how the Muslim community also carries traumatic memories from the partition, and what also happened after the partition. Now the challenging and reinterpreting memory. A play, one of the solutions suggested by the play to counter this flawed communal memory that is inherited from various generations, that is how we confront the past and how we reinterpret with liberal outlook. That is where Ramneek, Smita, and Bobby's role is very, very important. Ramneek admits that he admits to bring truth to the past. His confession to Daksha about Jareen's family's hunger directly challenges her core memory of humiliation. And then we have Smita's idealism as a representative of the younger generation. Smita is less burdened by past memories. So as we go from the first generation that faced uh, all these instances of communal disharmony and who become the victims of these communal tensions, as we move in the future, or as we come as the many generations pass, we have a chance to take a break from that inherited past, which is obviously to great extent flawed and shaped by communal memory. That's why that is why Bobby and Smita hold a lot of promise for communal harmony. Then there are Bobby's action. His symbolic act with the Krishna idol is an attempt to create new positive shared experiences. Now, exile in the play. Exile is both mental journey and physical journey experienced by various characters in the play. So, physical exile, the trauma of displacement that is faced by Daksha's family during the partition, and then the loss of home and identity. The act of leaving their ancestral home signifies a fundamental loss of roots, security, and a part of their identity. Obviously, then when they shift to new countries that were created after independence, India and Pakistan. So when they leave, migrate to newer new places, they are rediscovering their identities and they have to reconstruct their identities. The catalyst for trauma. This initial physical exile is a fundamental trauma that deeply impacts Daksha, leading to her later bitterness as Hardika. So after marriage, she changes her name to Hardika, and then we have inherited, intergenerational impact. Sorry, there is some notification with the laptop. The memory of this forced migration keeps, keeps bringing these past traumatic experiences at various points of time. Then there is psychological and emotional exile uh, that is faced by different characters. So, inherited trauma. Daksha's early humiliation or traumatic experiences, that is her father's death, perceived humiliation, like domestic abuse, lead her to build emotional walls. So as Daksha gets older, she gets very embittered and she becomes very hard to change person, like and that also impacts her family members, like her son, daughter-in-law, and her granddaughter. Then exile from empathy. That is a very, very important point. Now, as these experiences become hardened with time, They create a distance from sympathy, empathy, and shared sense of humanity. Then there is exile from forgiveness. These various characters go through this. Or there is a social and cultural exile as well, which is mostly faced by minority communities like Muslim characters, experiences like Javed and Bobby, despite being citizens, are treated as outsiders, especially by Aruna and Hardika. Their relation makes them objects of suspicion and hostility. Even though Bobby hasn't done anything wrong, he still faces this uh, the impacts of or you can say consequences of communal disharmony. And Smita's exile from family values. Her idealism and empathy for Bobby put her at odds with her mother and grandmother, creating a different kind of alienation within her own home. And she has to face a lot of m- forced values and forced conservatism, mostly through her mother. And then there is Javed's feeling of dispossession. His anger and riot causing, as pointed by Ramneek, acts as a response for feeling socially and culturally exiled. So that is their way of catching attention, or that's their way of also taking revenge for this forced exclusion, or a feeling of outsiders they face. Now let's have a little look at Mahesh Dattani's style, how his unique style brings out various elements in the play. So like he's known for sharp and clear, uh, pungent language. So his language is very charged. So the language he uses is not neutral in nature. He uses strong words. So, does not matter to which community the character belongs. The language is very charged. Like there are a lot of jokes at the expense of the other person who belongs to a different religion. There is incorporation of uh, regional dialects like Aruna, when she speaks, there is a Gujarati accent like dupatta, jalebi. So he also uses a lot of Hindi and Gujarati words in the play. And the language the characters speak is not very neutral, not neutral accented. So accent is not neutral. It is there is a lot of mother tongue influence that is shown through various characters. And he's also known for strong symbolism and imagery. Now the masks worn by the mob, they represent various feelings or various themes. Like the mob becomes a symbol for society and societal prejudices regarding various communities or various people belonging to various cultures. And there is balance of humor, irony, and pathos. So now, if you want to, know a playwright who combines all the Indianness in its grandeur and Indianness in its irony, in its Indian humor, that is captured by the Tani in the raw form, and that is evident when you look at various characters in the play. And also he focuses on themes of family and domestic places that are obviously taken over by the things that are happening in the family space is not a private space in the Tani's place. It becomes a microcosm for society. So whatever is happening in the society at large canvas, that is reflected to the small space of family. Now let's have a look at the dramatic techniques of Mahesh Dattani and how these techniques help to bring out various elements and various themes in his plays. And there is sense of fragmentation in Indian society, because of amalgamation of uh, people from various cultures, various religions, and various belief systems. So fragmented spaces of the stage set reflect the fragmented psyches of various characters. So the stage is very minimalistic in his plays, most of his plays. Mostly there is one set that that gets intermingled with the other scenes in the play, and there is a blending of past and present seamlessly. There is not sometimes the past and present submerge so effortlessly that we have to pay close attention to view that change taking place. And there is precise and dynamic stage directions and movement conveyed that convey emotions and character interactions beyond dialogue. So all these, body language, and Dattani, when he is directing his own plays, he spends a lot of time in deciding clear-cut movements and stage occupation by different characters. So he does not leave any loose ends while directing the play. He keeps a very tight ship running, and there is strategic use of silence, stillness, and sound adds to the emotional intensity and atmosphere. So he mostly uses Indian music and various sounds from Indian streets, Indian bazaars, and all those things. And let's have a look at how the narrative is designed in his plays. So mostly non-linear, plays not a linear approach, a linear progression is not there. It's a non-linear storytelling. There is a flash forwards and flash backwards, as we also see in this play. And there are constant shifts between past and present, and use of fragmented memories that we get to see from various characters' point of view. And the characters are often caught in dilemmas uh, due to the family history or their personal belief systems that we see through Smita and Bobby. And other themes in his plays are like gender and sexuality, family conflicts, and generational gaps. Most of the themes are common in his plays. And he also makes it a point to address various taboos in Indian society, like HIV, homosexuality, child abuse, gender roles. He also challenges gender roles in Indian society, identity and self-expression, and marginalization faced by various communities. So I guess that's all for today. Thanks for watching this video, and if you like this video, please comment and share and subscribe for more such videos. Thank you.